This video I'll show you how to construct this seat frame. So remember what we're doing, we're breaking this down into individual pieces. So I'm going to create this half. This is where the seat would mount. I'm going to make this half of this seat frame because remember it's just too complicated to bend in one piece, so we'll bend it and we'll make it out of two pieces and weld it together. The good news is these two pieces are exactly the same, so I can just do a mirror image of that. Oops, so let's start a sketch. Again, I've already sketched this out so I know what it looks like. I'm not just winging this. And again, I don't know 100% what this is all going to look like. Dimensionally, I don't know exactly what this is going to look like. But I have at least something to start with. The dimensions certainly will change as I go, and usually when you start to assemble it, you'll find a few things that need to be adjusted here and there, or you may totally change your mind about what you want the design to do. On this one, I don't know the angle, because again, I was sketching it out, but I do know what I think I want this length to be, which is 4 inches right there, and I know what I want this length to be. So the angle is just going to be whatever it is. So it might be some kind of a kooky looking angle, but that will make it fit. Now this end is longer than that end, so it's 4.5 inches from there to there and 4 from there to there. You'll see how that all fits together. Now also I'm going to round off. These corners are all going to be filleted. In this case I'm using a 3-inch fillet. But you have to make sure you have enough room to fit those fillets in there, because they do take up a lot of space. So you may have to adjust accordingly this dimension to make sure you can fit both fillets in there. And it gives you a much more professional looking design when you have those rounded corners instead of square pieces. So that's going to be my path. I will need a work plane on the end of that, on one of those ends, and on that I will draw the cross section. So new sketch on there, show the OD and ID of my tubing. Finish the sketch, and I'll need to sweep that. There's my cross section. I have to choose the path. Okay, so this end is going to end up having to be notched. I'll show you that backbone subassembly. So see how these pieces of tubing fit together? That'll have to be notched so that can slide in there and have a professional looking fit. So that's on this end here. So I will need to have some planes to work with. So let's come back to our original planes. I will need that mid plane along there. Let's say I do not need that plane there. I'll need a horizontal plane, and I'm just going to turn all these on for now, and then I can make these work for however I need to. So let's go ahead. I'm going to create a offset plane here. I don't know. Oops. I don't know what that distance is. I don't really remember. It was 9 to the end. I don't need to be at the end of it. It's just, I want to get close, just for a visual tool. There we go, and I can turn that right plane off. And now I need to know where I am horizontally here. And remember that distance was 4 inches from my original sketch. So what I want to do is take this plane here and I want to offset it up 4 inches. I can turn this top plane off. So now if I draw a circle on there, that'll be, doesn't look like it because of the angle, that'll be the center of that tube. That'll notch it out, just exactly what I want. So let's create a new sketch on plane 2. And so the reason I have all those planes on is it helps you identify exactly where the center of that goes. Otherwise it's kind of a shot in the dark. And I'm going to do a 3/4. Now, I know this is tubing, but all you need is the OD. You don't have to worry about the ID because I'm just cutting away material with that. So let's see what that looks like. So see how that sketches on there? Now I'm going to extrude that. So do an extrude cut. I'll just do it through all now. Be careful about that. See what happens when you do a through all? That's exactly not what I want. So don't do a through all. That's why sometimes I just say put a number in there. So just put a 1 in there, for example. Now for second direction, same thing. Just put a 1 in there. Just make sure you cut through that piece of tubing on this end, but not on the other end. Let's come back through here and turn all these planes off. And there's that tube. Now once again, that's going to fit in there. There'll be 1 on this side and 1 on that side, and it should create this. Now again, I've already thought about this. I've sketched it out, and I know how these pieces need to fit together. If you have to edit this as you go, if you forget to, you know, if you need to change a length or whatever, it's easy enough to do, remember, because it's all parametric. So there is that. I call that piece of tubing the seat frame. So I'll do a save as, make sure it's in that same folder, and it's going to be FRM 285, and I'm calling this part 211A, and that's all in that same folder with the other pieces of tubing.